Pay attention. It is the confirmation, a signal. And if you felt something pull you toward this video today, if something in your chest said yes when you saw the title, then you already know on some level that this message was meant for you specifically. Samsara, the wheel, the cycle that doesn't forget, doesn't skip anyone, doesn't make exceptions. You've heard people say, what goes around comes around your whole life. And maybe part of you stopped believing it. Maybe you watched people who hurt you walk away clean. Maybe walk away smiling, walk away like nothing ever happened. Like you were just a chapter they closed and never thought about again. And you had to sit there in the wreckage of what they did and figure out how to breathe again. But here is what I need you to understand right now in this moment before we go any further. The wheel didn't stop. No, it was never going to stop. It just moves on its own schedule, not yours. And right now, for you, for your specific situation, for everything you've carried and every night you spent trying to make sense of what happened, the wheel has completed its turn. Samsara has turned. And it is over for them right now. I don't care. Yeah, I really don't care how untouchable they seemed. It's done. And you need to hear exactly why and exactly what that means for your life starting today. Let me tell you something that most people never forget, never get told. The reason you went through what you went through wasn't random. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't because you were weak or naive or because you did something to deserve it. No. The reason you went through, it's because there is something in you, a quality, a light, a specific kind of energy that certain people recognized and couldn't tolerate. You know what envy really looks like up close. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't walk in wearing a sign. Envy walks in wearing the face of a friend. It sits at your table. It knows your story. It learns your weaknesses. The same way someone learns the layout of a house they are planning to rob. And the people who went up against you, whether it was one person or a whole group of them, whether it happened at work, in your family, in a relationship, in your circle, those people saw something in you that they wanted and couldn't have. Not because it wasn't available to them, but because what you carry isn't something you can steal. You can try to dim it. You can lie on a person's name. You can conspire, manipulate, scheme, and gather other people into your corner. But you cannot take what was placed inside someone else. You can't. Period. And that's what drove them crazy about you. That's what made them obsessed. That's what made them go so far, do so much, say things they knew were not true, because they looked at you and they felt in their chest, even if they'd never admitted, that you were chosen for something they were not. And they couldn't stand it. And here is where it gets really specific. Because I'm not just talking about general haters. I'm talking about people who knew you from your circle. People who sat with you in your pain. People who watched you struggle and either quietly celebrated or worse, actively added to the weight you were already carrying. Think about for a second the moments when you were at your lowest. Maybe you'd lost something, maybe everything felt like it was falling apart all at once. And instead of getting the support you deserved, you got silence, or you got judgment, or you got someone who took what you told them in confidence and used it as ammunition against you. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, you felt it happen. You felt the shift in the room, the temperature change when you walked in somewhere. You felt the way certain conversations stopped when you got close. You started to question, your own perception, because how could people who said they loved you, who said they were your people, actually be doing what you were starting to suspect they were doing? And that self-doubt, that maybe I'm reading this wrong, maybe I'm being paranoid, that was by design. That was part of how it worked. Because the moment you start doubting your own eyes, you stop defending yourself. You go quiet, you shrink, and they get to keep operating in the dark. But you were not paranoid. You were right. And somewhere in your body, you knew it the whole time. That tight feeling in your gut that never quite went away. That feeling, that thing in the back of your mind that kept returning even when you tried to bury it. That was clarity. That was your own inner knowing trying to protect you. And even when you couldn't fully trust it, even when you talked yourself out of it because the alternative was too painful to accept, it was still there. You were right. Now, I want to talk about what it actually costs to be the person who keeps their integrity when everyone around them is losing theirs. Because nobody talks about this enough. People talk about resilience like it's this clean, empowering thing, like you just decide to be strong and then you are. But the real experience of going through sustained betrayal, sustained attack on your name, sustained isolation while you were trying to rebuild, that's not clean. That's waking up at 3 a.m. with your heart pounding for no reason you can name. That's going through days where you perform being okay because you don't have the energy to explain what's actually happening inside you. That's the specific loneliness of knowing something terrible is being done to you and not being able to prove it in a way that makes other people believe you. You tried to defend yourself. Maybe you tried to set the record straight, tried to show people the truth, tried to get someone to just see what was actually happening. And you realized, at some point you realized that you were fighting a battle that was reached Because the people who were coming against you were not interested in truth. They were interested in the story they were telling about you. And stories spread faster than truth. Yeah, stories feel more exciting than truth. And so you watched your reputation get picked apart piece by piece by people who were smiling to your face, loving you, or people who'd never even given you a real chance to be heard. And what did you do? I'll tell what you did. You kept going. Maybe not gracefully, maybe not without breaking down behind closed doors, but you got back up every single time. Not because it was easy, it wasn't. Not because you were not afraid, you were. Because something in you refused to let them be right about you. Something in you knew that if you stopped moving, if you let the weight of everything they said and did actually take you down, they would win. And on some deep, unspoken level, you couldn't let that happen. Not because of pride, because of truth, because you knew who you actually were, even in the moments you almost forgot. And here is what I want you to sit with right now, because this is the part that changes everything. That refusal, that bone deep, quiet refusal to give up, that's not just personality, that's not just stubbornness, that is protection. Yeah, that is protection. That was something was working with you, walking with you through all of it. Not in a flashy way, not in a way that made it easy, but in the way that matters. You came through. You are here, right now, watching this, still breathing, still thinking, still capable of hope, even if hope feels distant. You survived. Yeah, you survived something that was genuinely designed to break you. Multiple things, maybe multiple people working together, whether they coordinated consciously or just fed off each other's energy the way certain people do when they find a common target. And none of it took you out. Doesn't that say something? Doesn't that tell you something about what you are made of? Any normal person, and I mean that literally, during my practice, I know that, would have crumbled under that kind of sustained pressure. The isolation, the false narrative, the betrayal from people who you trusted, the moments you doubt where you couldn't tell what was real anymore. Most people don't come back from that. You are coming back from that. You are already in it. The return is happening. Let me paint you a picture of something, because I think you need to see this clearly. Imagine a wheel. And I don't mean this metaphorically. I mean actually picture it. Big, heavy, old, the kind of wheel that has been turning since the beginning of time and has never once been stopped by anything a human being said or did. Every action feeds into that wheel. Every intentional cruelty, every calculated lie, every time someone chose to hurt you because it was convenient, because it gave them power, because they thought you couldn't fight back, because they genuinely believe they were going to get you to get away with it. All of it went into that wheel. All of it. And the wheel doesn't forget. It doesn't get distracted. It doesn't get swayed by how charming someone is or how good their story sounds or how many people they've convinced. It measures differently than people do. It measures intent. It measures impact. It measures the gap between what someone claimed to be and what they actually did when they thought no one important was watching. And right now, that wheel is completing a full rotation. What was put in on your side is coming back to you. What was put in on their side is coming back to them. That's not revenge. No, that's not you wishing bad on anyone. No, you're not that kind of person. That's just the nature of how things actually work. You don't have to do anything to make this happen. You couldn't stop it if you tried. It's already in motion. Samsara has turned. And I need to be specific about what that means in real terms, because I don't want this to feel abstract. The things that were taken from you, your peace, your reputation, your confidence, your sense of safety in relationships, your ability to fully trust, those things are being returned, not all at once, probably, not in some dramatic single moment, though sometimes it does happen that way. But you have already started noticing, haven't you? Admit it. Small things. The way certain doors that were closed are starting to open again. The way certain people who were not in your corner are starting to show their true colors to everyone. Not just to you. The way your own clarity is coming back. The ability to read a situation, to trust your gut, to know when something is off without spending weeks second guessing yourself. That's restoration. That's happening for you right now. And for them, for the people who orchestrated what you went through, who participated in it, who stood by and let it happen when they could have spoken up. Things are shifting in their world too. You don't have to track it. You don't have to watch for it. But if you pay attention, at some point you are going to get a glimpse of what's happening on their end. And it's going to be uncomfortable to witness. Even for you. I want to warn you. It's really uncomfortable to see. Even after everything. Because you're not them. You do not celebrate suffering. Even the suffering of people who caused yours. That's the difference. That has always been the difference. Here's something that took me a long time to understand. And I think you need to hear it right now. The fact that you still have a good heart after what you went through, that's not weakness, that's the whole point. That's the entire thing. Because the attack on you wasn't just about hurting you, it was about transforming you. It was about making you into something bitter and closed off and calculated. It was about taking that particular quality in you, that realness, that openness, that specific light, and turning it into its shadow, making you so hurt and so guarded that you close down and become a smaller version of yourself. And you didn't. You are wounded. You are probably still healing in ways you haven't fully mapped yet. But you are not closed. You are not cold. You kept something alive in yourself that every single thing that happened to you was trying to kill. And that right there is why what comes next for you is so significant. Because you cannot receive what's coming to you if your hands are clenched, yeah. You cannot step into the life that's been built for you behind the scenes while you have been surviving. If you are still locked in the survival posture and you are starting to uncurl, I can feel it, even saying this to you. Something in you is starting to believe again that good things are actually possible, that you deserve them, that the story isn't over, that actually in some ways the best part is just beginning. I want to talk about the people who grouped up against you, because this is something that really messes with people's heads. The idea that multiple people would coordinate consciously or not to go against one person. It feels crazy when it's happened to you. It feels like you must be imagining it, like you must be making yourself the center of a story that's not really there. But I need you to hear this. When someone has what you have, when someone is moving in a direction that others can feel but can't access for themselves, the pull to stop that person can be almost compulsive. It doesn't even always make rational sense to the people doing it. They just feel this need to undermine, to discredit, to make sure that what you are building somehow doesn't get built. And they find each other, these people. They find each other through shared resentment. One person who has a grievance, real or manufactured, becomes the anchor for a whole group of people who needed an excuse to express what they were already feeling. And the thing about that kind of coordinated energy coming at one person is that is genuinely overwhelming. It's designed to be. It's designed to make you feel alone, outnumbered, like the truth doesn't matter because there are just too many of them and only one of you. And here is what that math misses. It misses the weight on the other side. It misses that every single one of those people is now accountable for their specific role in what happened. Every one of them. The ones who actively participated and the ones who just watched and gossiped and judged from their sidelines. Every single person who contributed even a little to what you went through is now in a cycle they cannot step out of. They set it in motion, and the return is not divided equally among them the way the effort was. Each one gets it back fully. That's not how you designed it, probably. That's not even how most people want it to work, but that's how it works. Always. You were delayed. I needed to really take that in because there is a critical difference between delayed and denied. And the people who came against you confused those two things completely. They thought because they managed to slow you down, because they managed to create chaos in certain areas of your life, because they managed to cost you time and relationships and opportunities and peace. They thought that meant they had stopped something. They hadn't. They'd postponed it. There is a version of your life that was always yours, that was always where you were heading, and no amount of human interference can permanently reroute that. The road got harder, the road got longer. There were detours that cost you real things, time you cannot get back, connections that got poisoned, a version of your confidence that you had to rebuild from scratch. Those losses are real. I'm not going to minimize them by turning them into a neat lesson. You lost things, real things, and you were allowed to grieve them. But the destination, the actual destination, the life that was built for you in ways you are only beginning to understand, that was never cancelled. It was never even really in danger. It was just waiting on the other side of what you had to walk through. And you are almost there. Not as a metaphor, as an actual, literal, real life fact. The things you've been praying for, the things you have been quietly hoping for, even when hope felt foolish, they are closer right now than they ever been. And the people who tried to make sure you never got there, they are about to have front row seats to watching you step into exactly what they tried to prevent. So, here's what I need from you right now. Not gratitude, not forgiveness on a timeline you are not ready for. Not the performance of being okay. What I need from you is this. Stop making yourself small in preparation for another attack that isn't coming. Stop scanning the horizon for the next thing that's going to go wrong. Stop holding your breath. Yeah. The season of sustained attack on your life is ending. The wheel has turned, and you are walking into something now, something real, something that has your name on it, something that no one can take, redirect, or corrupt. You need to start letting yourself take up space again. Start letting yourself want things out loud, even just to yourself. Start letting yourself imagine the future as something that actually belongs to you, rather than something you are just hoping doesn't hurt you. Because the energy you walk with right now is setting the frequency for what you're about to receive. Remember that. And you've earned the right to walk with your head up. You've earned the right to actually believe in what's coming, not because everything is perfect. No. Not because you are done healing, but because you survived the thing that was supposed to stop you. And that changes everything about who you are and what's possible for you now. One last thing, and this is important. When it comes, when the good things start arriving, when the doors start opening, when people start showing up differently, when life starts to reflect back to you what you actually put into it instead of what was done to you. Be quiet about it. Not because you should hide, not because you don't deserve to celebrate, but because there are still eyes on you. And there will always be people who, the moment they see you winning, will try to find a new angle. Let them find out through the results. Let your life speak for itself. Let the evidence accumulate quietly and powerfully until it's undeniable. You don't owe anyone an announcement. You do not owe anyone an explanation of how you made it through. The people who were in your corner, the real ones, even if there were only one or two, they already know. Yeah, they already know. And the people who were not, let them figure out it from a distance. That's already the mercy they don't deserve, but that your nature is going to give them anyway. You made it. You made it. You're right here, right now, on the turning point. Samsara has turned. The cycle is completing. Justice, not the dramatic public kind of necessarily, but the real, deep, spiritual, structural kind that actually changes lives, is moving in your direction right now. You are not waiting for it anymore. You are walking into it. So keep moving. Keep your heart open. Keep your head up. And understand that everything that was done to you, everything that was taken, everything that was said about you, all of it was seen. All of it was recorded in the only ledger that actually matters. And that ledger is being balanced right now, today, in your favor. You're not alone in this. You never were. And it's over for them. It's completely, finally over for them. Your time is now.